Hello and welcome to another Tower of the Exalted Battle Report. In this game, it is featuring Morgoul1 versus Lich Lord Venetrax and the Legions of Crix. My apologies right now, this picture is awfully blurry. I really need to double check to make sure that you guys can see this. Thankfully, it's not a persistent thing, so don't worry. But anyways, on to the Crix forces, which are fielded by a local player named Blake. We I like to affectionately refer to him as our store's boss monster, just because he's a very confident player, doesn't pull punches, and just kind of goes for the throat when he can. So he's been playing Crix a long time, and it's very nice to see that he hasn't just kind of gave up on them because their inventory isn't what they were. As a Scorn player, I can respect that, especially with the changes for the new edition. But anyways, onto his list. Again, starting from left to right as we tend to do, we have a Scavenger. We have a full unit of Satixis Blood Witches. No UA with them. There is a Slayer. Behind them, there is the Wither Shadow Combine. Next to the Slayer is Erebus. Next to him is, I believe, a Warwitch Siren. Then we have Lich Lord Venetrax. We have a Harrower, a second Warwitch Siren, a second Scavenger, a Ripjaw, and a Bloat Thrall. And in behind the jacks that you can't see very well, there are two Necrotechs. So in this scenario, we're also playing Incursion. Pretty much standard, straightforward. So onto Morghoul's deployment and army list. So going from left to right, we have a minimum unit of Incendiary. We have a Tyrant Commander. We have a Titan Gladiator. We have Tiberian. We have Morgoul1, a second Titan Gladiator, a full unit of Acuari, and in the back, kind of supporting, is a maximum unit of Beast Handlers, a Cyclops Shaman, and Ornn Midwinter. So yeah, pretty much kind of what my standard fare for this list was going to be. One of the kind of nice advantages for being able to go second, I was to make sure that the Incendiary were squared off against the Blood Witches, and so at least they have some nice little low armored targets to set on fire and not have to worry too much about needing to hit, thankfully for the 3-inch AoE blast that they have. So on to turn 1 Crix. Pretty much standard fare, everything runs up. I believe Venetrax cast Lamentation in kind of preparation for the next turn. I saw that, and this is kind of just a little bit a precursor for what's about to happen. But when I was at the store, I saw this list played against a Signar force led by Jeremiah Cray, and Erebus with the auto freeze on his claws is just ridiculous, and that, combined with terminal velocity, where his whole battle group gets free charges and plus 2 inches of movement when they charge living models and all this other stuff. I was deathly afraid with making sure that Morghoul would be protected. Because typically what the Morghoulist likes to do is kind of rush up in the middle, feet, and basically say, okay, you can either stand back and kind of give me more of a scenario pressure, or you can come up, try to, maybe kill one of my 3 Titans with no focus or fury, and they would just kill you in return. Hopefully kind of catch people out with thinking, I'll just hang back a little bit, but they don't hang back far enough, because Titans with rush and abuse, being able to threaten 12 inches is really surprising, and it catches people out a lot. So sometimes I can still kind of get up there and being able to do some beneficial trades with the heavies. But anyways, on to continuing on the game. So score in turn one, and this was my first major mistake of the game. I kind of moved everything up. I didn't really get the Titans nearly as aggressive as I should have. And I remember just thinking in my head, okay, we're going to have Morghoul go up. He's going to feat. He's not going to be able to spend any focus. Defense 16. You know, Erebus is going to need a 9 to hit. That's probably not very likely, so I don't have to worry about crit freeze, or not crit freeze, just auto freeze. And so, you know, he'll be okay, and then he'll dodge out of the way, and you know, everything will be fine. Everything will be great, and then my Titans will go in and kill a whole bunch of stuff and what have you. And it so if anyone, my frustration is really against myself, because as veteran Morgoul1 players should be noticing, yes, he's camping 6 Fury from taking an extra Fury from Maltreat, but there's no admonition out there. And this was a gigantic, you know, error on my part. If Morghoul had put in admonition, the next turn would not have been able to happen like it did. It was just incredibly silly on my part. This is kind of one of those things. It's definitely kind of a rookie mistake. But I've, you know, been playing Scorn for about the last 2 years fairly straight, and I shouldn't be doing these. But completely forgot that admonition was even on his card. Like, just, I think I was just so fixated on the fact that he has defense 16, so he'll be fine. But one thing I forgot to take into account, and we'll go into Crick's turn 2. Actually, here's just another photo of Morghoul thinking that he's all cool, standing in front of the entire Crick's force, figuring like, haha, I got your number because I'm defense 16 and you can't spend focus, so what up? Yeah, I know, a 40-year-old man just said what up, but, you know, whatever. You'll get over it. So anyway, so on to Crick's turn 2. The one thing that I forgot, and as you notice, he kind of crashed into me, is the fact that terminal velocity from Venetrax also gives boosted attack rolls. So when Blake charged Erebus in, and he's like, okay, I need 9s to hit, and picks up 3 dice. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, you're my controller. I get boosted attack rolls against living models. Like, I wasn't upset with him. I was more upset with myself. But I was just so beside myself. Like, this spell is insane, and all this other stuff. So yeah, so Erebus went in. He hit with the first claw, making Morghoul stationary. Hit with the second claw. One of the scavengers went in, charging, getting the additional die for finisher. Because I think I boosted, I transferred off 2 of the hits, and one of them for some reason I didn't. I was just being bitter and really kind of being unsportsmanlike, to be perfectly honest. And I ended up taking like 12 damage, and I was like, fine, Morghoul's just going to take all 12. Like, I laugh about it now, but, you know, I really not exactly a way that I should have handled this as obvious to anybody. But anyway, so the Harrower goes up, shoots off one of the Acuari, and I believe the Ripjaw charged and killed another one. And that Harrower, when it gets to kill something in that race shot, is really scary. The Blood Witches going up, trying to get that leftmost flag, kind of keeping people in the trench to help out, you know, protect themselves from the incendiary blast. Slayer's just, you know, there for like a second wave counterpunch. And he very sneakily moved up that War Witch Siren so that if I wanted to charge the Slayer, I had to deal with her first because I couldn't let her get a free strike. All of a sudden, you know, Shadowbind one of my Titans and just completely ruin that plan. So Morghoul was still alive. I think he was down to like 4 health. He needed a cut for 2, so he was down to 2. But anyway, so on to my second turn. I should kind of explain something a little bit. So the plan for this was to have the Titan over by the Akiwara, kind of next to that linear obstacle, or that obstacle, I should say. Charge and take out the Harrower. Tiberian to go in and put enough damage, hopefully with Abuse and Enrage and everything else, to be able to kill the Scavenger and Erebus. And the Titan Gladiator, the one that's in green, to get Abuse, Rush, and charge all the way downtown to get into that Slayer and wreck him. The problem is that this War Witch Siren is kind of the first piece that's really causing a problem. Well, I'm like, great, I have Ord Midwinter. He can walk up, he can shoot some lightning, he's got power tokens to boost a hit, everything will be fine. Well, the one thing that I did that kind of helped hurt this plan was, you know, the War Witch Siren has stealth, so I needed to get her within 5. And I kind of did what I've noticed some people do in that knee-jerk kind of reaction of making sure I am far as possible away, like I'm just barely in to be able to see her with stealth. And I did that, which is great. You know, it's you know, you want to kind of keep him away from the fight. But when I did that, and as you can see in kind of the photo here, keeping kind of the perspective, he didn't need to go very far. So when I did that, I blocked the charge lane for Tiberian because Orin only had to go up about 1 inch. So I just, you know, just not even thinking, kind of more worrying about, you know, what am I going to do about this War Witch Siren, not thinking about the rest of the turn. Like I got so much tunnel vision that I just kind of worried about this one piece of the puzzle, not the entirety of it. So then Morghoul had to go in. He had to kill Orin so that Tiberian's charge lane would be able to get in there. But anyways, so yeah, this other photo is showing the Incendiary kind of facing off against the Blood Witches. So this is actually the end of Scorn turn 2. All of my Titans wrecked his whole battle group with the exception of the Slayer. As you all know, Orin and the War Witch Siren are gone. Tiberian did not do as much damage as I would have liked, so I sent in the green Titan Gladiator just to help finish it off, because I figured that was much more of a threat. I couldn't just have Erebus up there with its auto stationary claws. I knew that the Slayer was going to be a big problem in addition to the other scavenger that's kind of hanging around, but I felt, you know, something was better than nothing. So when we get into Crick's turn 3, oh, actually, before that, real quick, the Incendiary also walked up, took some shots into the Blood Witches. I made sure that the second Incendiary was barely in that trench, so the other ladies who were also in the trench couldn't benefit from the being immune to blast damage. I was feeling kind of okay on attrition. As far as things go, I knew that Venetrax was going to pop feet and cause all sorts of problems, but I completely, in my tunnel vision, to just, you know, I have to destroy this battle group. I have to destroy this battle group. When we get into Crick's turn 3, which ended up being the end of the game, the only Titans that I had available for transfers was the far right Gladiator and the Cyclops Shaman. So the Wither Shadow Combine kind of goes up, is doing some dark fires into the gladiator, slowly pointing him away. So, you know, the Blow Thrall takes a shot into it. I believe that's where the shot went, kind of also slowly taking it away. So when the charging Slayer, he combo struck into Morghoul, it was at like a POW 22, or it was like a POW 22 hit. So, you know, he goes up, he hits, thanks to terminal velocity, hits Morghoul, is at like dice +8 on 3 dice. I think he did like some sort of ridiculous amount of damage. I transferred over to the Gladiator, and it still had enough left over that it completely killed Morghoul. So Morghoul just died in that one hit from like a transfer overload. This was definitely not my finest hour. Those two big mistakes with Ornn Midwinter and not putting up admonition, you know, even again, second time here would have been a great opportunity for admonition to be helping me out. But the not kind of realizing that terminal velocity got the boosted attack rolls really just mentally just tilted me. I'll be perfectly honest. It's not a great thing. It's not something I'm super proud of, but you know, it's kind of one of those. This is going to be one of those games that's definitely going to be kind of like one of those learning blocks, you know, to just being a better player, because this loss was really rough. I mean, anyways, I'm gonna stop beating myself up. But anyways, so that was the game. I hope you also learned the very importance of casting admonition, so you don't lose to a terminal velocity at Erebus, because it's not fun. But anyways, so thank you for tuning in, and we will have another battle report soon.